Today for the E36, we're going to be getting rid of this clutch fan and installing this electric fan. This fan is completely stock, and I've seen too many people's fans just explode, so I'm just going to be getting rid of it before it causes any damage. And installing this fan with this relay kit and stuff. I've never installed something like this, so I guess we're kind of just learning together, but I'm going to be wiring it into my Link ECU, and then I'm going to set it to a certain temperature to kick on. Because I've seen some people just like wire it into this plug, and I just don't really want to do that. And if I have the Link ECU and I can do that, then I just might as well. So first thing we're going to do is just take this fan off. I've got a size 32 on this nut down here, and it is reverse threaded. There we go. Alright, now the fan is off. I have a little bit more room in there to fit that fan. So we've got the fan sitting in here. I also rewired the plug for this, it's like a dish something plug, because the fan came with another plug on it, but I don't have a male version of it. So I don't know why they would just give me that and not give me the male end of the plug. That's whatever. And it looks like the 16 would be like the biggest I'd be able to fit in here, because this thing is like, it's sitting on the bottom. It like barely fits. So that's good, I guess. Now we have the fan all mounted up. We just use these like radiator zip ties almost, where they just go straight through and then you just zip it on there. So that is all in there. We have this plug that we added on. Now we can actually figure out the wiring. I think I'm just going to mount the relay right here because I need the wires to be long enough to reach the fan over there. So I'll mount it right there. We can probably just ground it into the structure there. And then we can hopefully tuck some of this, because it's not going to be pretty, but whatever works, I guess. So I kind of have these wires laid out how I'm going to be using them. So this red wire is going to go to the battery terminal up here, so that is out of the way. This one kind of gets confusing to where it has this thermal ring on it where you're supposed to connect it to like a coolant sensor like this one right here, but we're not going to be using that because we have the Link ECU. So I'm going to have to cut this off right here, take this ring out, and then from here we're going to connect this to the aux output on the ECU, and then we'll set that up on the computer. So we'll be cutting this right here. This blue wire goes to the blue wire on the fan over here, and then this black wire just gets grounded out. And then this one is just a switched 12 volts. So it's pretty simple, but definitely if it's your first time, it's going to be really confusing because these wires could mean anything unless you know what you're doing. So yeah, let's cut this one off and then get all this stuff mounted. So right here, we won't be needing this. There we go. So now this is going to go straight into the ECU. Then we'll take this and then plug it into that plug on the fan. So now we have the other end of the plug. So now we're going to take these two, and you really want to make sure that these are going to be on the right side, because then when it comes time where you plug it in and the wires are on the wrong side, that's going to be a big headache because then you got to redo it. So blue is on this side, so pop this one in until it clicks. There we go. And then black is on this side until it clicks. This one might need to go further. Yeah. Alright, so now those are right there. Now we're just going to stick this wedge in there. Make sure it's fully seated. And this plug is done. it looks really good. I'm just hooking up this power wire up to this little box up here, and make sure you're disconnecting your battery whenever you're doing stuff like this. There we go, there is that. Now we can just take this wire, put it to a switched 12 volt, which I have one coming off of right here, so I could just put it in there, which could be smart. Yeah, let's do that. So now we have a switched 12 volt hooked up. It's very ugly, so just bear with me. I'm gonna clean it up. Switched 12 volt. Now all we need left is just the aux port from the ECU. Now we can get this wire mess out of here and then get the expansion loom out. So now this can kind of be like the tricky part where I was already confused and I'm not actually using the expansion loom. So we have to use aux 6, which is pin 8. So 1 all the way down to 8. 11 is already used. So 8 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be this little like purple wire. So I'm just going to mark that real quick. And then we're going to kind of like tug on it through the harness, and then we'll see which wire moves, and then I'll just mark that one. Alright, so I have it right here. Alright, so there is our aux port. We're still going to have to extend it, unfortunately. Didn't really want to do that, but alright, so now that everything is fully wired in, we have the pin coming off of the harness right here, all the way down into the relay, all that stuff. Then it goes into that plug. So now all that we need to do is just go into PC Link on the ECU and get that set up. So now that we have this all set up, I can actually turn it on for you guys and show you guys how it actually works. So on, I guess this is just like testing the relay, the PWM, and then on is just the fan. We can turn it back off. I'm just gonna save that. I just like to be safe. I just like to store it to the ECU. Complete. So that is all done. We got all the wiring done. I still have to clean it up a little bit. But yeah, I really like how it turned out. It seemed a little bit easier than I thought. I think the scariest part was just figuring it out on the ECU, but it really wasn't bad at all. Everything is really straightforward, and like as you install more stuff, it just gets easier and easier.